Today, the Supreme Court voted 5-3 to strike down the strict regulation of abortion clinics in Texas.
So the justices ruled in favor of state clinics, which argued that the rules in Texas make it harder for women to get abortions. This law requires doctors who perform abortions to have admitting privileges at nearby hospitals and forces clinics to meet hospital-like standards for the outpatient surgery. So Texas had argued that its 2013 law and subsequent regulations were needed to protect women's health. The court did not agree. This was a big victory for pro-choice groups. Abortion is also one of the themes of a new show from one of the creators of The Daily Show.
I basically made a career out of using humor to shine a light on and what this movement needs is a jolt of provocative messaging to expose these creepy, self-appointed vaginal crossing guards.
Lady Parts Justice League is
Yes.
the name of the show. The show is meant to create awareness about laws involving women's reproductive rights. Lizz Winstead, the creator of the show, is here with us today. Hi.
Hi.
You saw what the Supreme Court just did today, and I know you wrote about it. Obviously, you're happy that they ruled in that way. You know, those who dissent say that they're helping women or they're protecting women's the health of women, which is often the argument that's made by the other side.
I know. You know, the thing about women is that we don't need a lot of guidance from men who don't know us. Turns out we're really, really smart about what we know we need. And so I think that the court agreed with those of us who were very, very skeptical and angry about these laws, and that is that they really weren't designed to help women or to make healthcare better. They were actually designed to close down clinics and to make healthcare less accessible.
It was really a very thinly veiled protection of women's rights because, you know, even the people that supported that law were saying this is just one step in our fight, you know, to basically reverse Roe v. Wade completely. But what you talk about here a lot in the Women's Justice League is the trap laws.
Yes.
Explain what a trap law is.
So what a trap law is, it's a law designed to sound like it's all real helpful, and it sounds good on its face, but in essence, it doesn't really work. A case in point, the hospital admitting privilege law, right? So what that does, it says, all right, if you're a physician that performs an abortion, you need to have admitting privileges to a hospital in case something goes wrong. Sounds good if you're on its face, right? Well, you have to prove a caseload to get accepted to a hospital. Abortion is so safe that you can't prove you'll bring a caseload. So the hospital denies you admitting privileges, so then your clinic can't stay open because you don't have admitting privileges, but you don't need the admitting privileges because you don't ever have a caseload to bring to the hospital. That is the trap.
And then it turns into less access, and then we're back to where women are just trying to do it on their own. They're to figure out a way to do it.
That's right. And since the laws passed in Texas, there has been a giant spike in women attempting self-abortion and without any kind of help, and those things are really terrible.
Why do you think that why do you think that your cause is so important? Why are people not really paying attention to these incremental changes to laws that may affect women's rights?
Well, I think that people don't report on because so often we look at women's issues as just women's issues instead of human rights issues. And the last time I checked, no woman was capable of getting pregnant all by herself. Sort of medically impossible. So I think that if we all band together and really look to see what this erosion is and what it means, you know, if you can't take the first line of defense in your own body, and that means deciding whether or not you want to have a family or want to expand your family, if that's forced upon you, all of a sudden the options you have for your own life quickly can disappear. And so we want to just make sure that women have a seat at the table and that guys that don't know us don't have a say in that.
So the Daily Show focused on so many issues. Lady Parks Justice League focuses on the one particular issue of abortion, women's access to abortion.
Well, abortion and also just the broader scope of injustices towards the fairer sex.
Yeah, but why for you was that particular, did you focus on that?
I think for me it's because a lot of people don't focus on it. It's a hot button issue. It's something that has been stigmatized for such a long time. We've swept the conversation under the rug. And I felt like, as I looked at all the things I cared about, when it came to reproductive access and justice, it didn't have a strong advocate the way the environment does, the way, you know, banking does, the way, you know, corporate greed does. And so I thought, you know what, it's something I care about. It's something that I feel like we need to expose, talk about, destigmatize. And so
you want to be the Leonardo DiCaprio of women's
Of the uterus.
reproductive. What? Yes, yes, I get
if
it.
I could be the Leo of the uterus, please God, make it so.
You even have
It is tough though to make abortion funny. I mean, you figure out a way to do it. Just even reading this article, because people are so scared to talk about it. It's so stigmatized, and yet to find humor really in it without making the subject too light.
Well, there's so many bad actors who have decided that they care a lot about women, but don't know the first thing about them. And when I started doing research on how many politicians have said outlandish things, to be able to highlight them with humor, I mean, there's a representative in Idaho who actually stood on the floor of the Idaho State House and said with a straight face, why can't women just get gynecological exams by swallowing a camera? Yeah. And so a woman that was holding office with him had to stand up and very delicately say, that's not how it works. So when those people are emboldened to legislate our reproductive system, I feel it's my job to hold them up, shine a light on them, and make a little fun of them.
Hi, you're doing a great job. In fact, here in LA, you have a show.
Yes, we do.
Lady Parts Justice presents You Should Smile More.
Oh, God.
And other
Manspirational things.
Yes.
That is the worst.
You should smile more.
How come you don't smile? Give
You're
me a
not smiling
smile.
at me. I know, the worst.
There's the information.
Good way
Tomorrow,
to get
June
punched in the
28th,
face.
9 p.m. at the California Institute of Abnormal Arts.
No, I didn't know there was an institute.
On Burbank Boulevard in North Hollywood. Also, download, I just downloaded the app. Hinder.
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 Yes.
Not Tinder, we're Hinder.
Hinder. Hinder is very fun. It's an app that's much like Tinder, but you can look state by state at the anti-choice, anti-women politicians who are holding office, and you can swipe left, swipe right, post on your Facebook. It's fun.
Yay, Hinder, everyone. It'll save you some problems staying off Tinder. Liz Winstead, thank you so much for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.